Hi everybody, today I'm covering the 4 best supplements for gut health. These are supplements, the only supplements really that you wouldn't be wasting your money on. Now it's really easy to hear about this supplement can help your gut, this can help your gut, this supplement might end your constipation or bloating, and it's really tempting to want to try each and every one of these, and before you know it, you have a cabinet full of supplements and you don't know which ones are helping, which ones aren't, and you're spending hundreds of dollars every single month just to keep up your supplements. Now, I want to tell you, it's incredibly unlikely that one supplement or a few new supplements are going to fix everything for you. To heal your gut, you really need a comprehensive plan that encompasses your diet, making sure you're getting nourishing, gut healing foods in, your lifestyle, making sure you're getting enough sleep and managing stress, making sure you're actually getting to the root cause of your gut issues. This is what's going to help you to heal. It's not another supplement. So I want to kind of cut through the supplement noise today and just help assure you that you don't need to be buying tons and tons of supplements. I'm going to give you 4 that I like, but every single one will have food alternatives, and I just want to let you know you do not have to take a single supplement to heal. Now I tried supplements here and there, but I just kind of buy them once, and it was very minimal when I was healing my gut. So ultimately I healed not taking any supplements regularly at all, and for the bulk of the time just no supplements at all, and I have several clients heal that way. So you don't have to take supplements to heal, but you do need to get all your nutrients in. So the biggest ones I'm going to go over that are helpful are just real food supplements that are made from real food that help you get nutrients in that I do find people can be lacking very often. But like I said, I'm going to give you some food options as well. But the ones I'm going to go over are ones that in my experience, they're not a waste of money. You see a noticeable difference and they actually help you to heal. So the very first one is going to be organ supplements. Now, I recommend that everybody, especially those healing their gut, get 3.5 to 7 ounces of liver every single week. It is up to you how you want to get that liver, but I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see just how nutrient rich liver is. Our ancestors ate the whole animal. They did not just eat boneless, skinless chicken breast and steaks. They ate the liver, they ate the heart, they ate the kidney, they ate the bones, they ate the funky cuts that you have to cook a lot slower. They ate the whole animal, and it provides all the nourishment we need. These nutrients actually nourish the corresponding nutrients in us. There are certain nutrients it's just really hard to get enough of, like vitamin A. If you're only eating muscle meat, it's a lot easier if you eat liver. Now, liver is the most nutrient dense one, so for simplicity, if you just want to go for 3.5 to 7 ounces of liver a week, you're good to go here. If you're feeling adventurous and you want to try some other organs, that is all the more better, but the basis for getting your nutrients in is getting that liver in. Now, the 3.5 ounces is to make sure you're actually getting enough to get all those nutrients in, but the 7 ounces is to make sure you're not overdoing it, because you can actually overdo nutrients. Particularly in liver, we're concerned about vitamin A because it's a fat-soluble nutrient, which means that it is absorbed when it's in fat, but also it is stored in our fat, and it can be stored up to 6 months long. So it's easy to overdo vitamin A, mostly if you're taking like a synthetic supplement. But if you go a little too crazy on liver, you could overdo your vitamin A. You can get hypervitaminosis A, which is not a good thing. It's toxic levels of vitamin A, and it can cause bad issues. But as long as you stick to that 3.5 to 7 ounce a week range of liver, you're good to go. And I count that as measured raw. So if you have raw liver and it measures out to that, that's what you want to get. Now, let's see. So there's a lot of different ways you can get liver in, but that's not really the point of this video. So I'll link another video up above and down below that shows like different ways that you can get liver in your diet if you're interested in that. And yeah, if you hate the taste of liver, or you just don't want to bother with making pate or trying to find ways to get it into your meal, and you want something really simple, this is where an organ supplement comes into play, and it really is a great option here. So I really like Heart and Soil. They have really high quality, good source, grass-fed, grass-finished, very clean, tested by third-party supplements. So anyway, I like those a lot. And if you just want the super simple here, if you're like, I don't feel like eating liver, dealing with organs, but I want to make sure I get my nutrients in, I would get just their pure American liver and just take the full serving every day, and you're good to go here. or you could get their beef organs supplement. So the nice thing about the beef organs is it's a few different organs, so it can kind of balance your nutrient intake a little bit more. So I would get one of those and just have it every day and you're good to go. Like I said, you don't have to buy a supplement. You can get liver in your diet, but you do need to do one or the other, or you're really just not gonna get the nutrients in you need to heal. Now, there are other great supplements that they have, and you can get a little bit more specific based on you as a person. So I will often have clients, and I'll even do this myself, who have liver sometimes, but just don't quite get that 3.5 to 7 ounces. So they'll also do supplements someday. So one day they might have ground beef that has liver mixed in, and the next day they might have some supplements. They might make pate for a week or two, but then have supplements for a few days. So if you're somebody that eats some liver but just isn't always getting enough, or maybe you travel a lot, you want to have another option, or you're really busy and you can't always keep up with it perfectly, you just want to make sure you have some on hand. Some of their other good supplements are their gut and digestive one. That's really good if you have digestive issues, because it has like intestines and different digestive organs that will help support your own. And it still has liver, but it is on the low end for how much liver it has in it. So that one in and of itself isn't enough if you like for getting your organs in. But if you eat some of your own liver and then sometimes have that supplement, it's a good option. You could also do the bone marrow and liver one. It's nice because it gives you a little extra collagen and it's a really clean source. This does not replace your bone broth or meat stock. You still need 2 cups a day, but it does give you a little bit extra, and then it has more liver than that gut and digestive one. So that's the one I've been having recently, and I'll either make my pate and have that, or sometimes I'll, now that I have the supplement, wait a few days and just have the supplement for a few days. Like I ran out of pate yesterday and I'm like, oh, I have the supplement, so I can just make it on the weekend when it's a little easier, and I can have the supplement for a few days till I get to the weekend and have my pate again. So, you can use it that way as well. They also have ones that are a little more specific. So they have like a histamine and immune one, which is really good if you have histamine intolerance. It is not necessary. You can heal histamine intolerance without taking this. But if you have really severe histamine intolerance, basically the kidney in it has a few things. It has thymus, lungs, spleen, and liver too. But specifically the kidney will have DAO, which is an enzyme that helps you break down and clear histamine out. So it can help you feel a little more comfortable in your journey of overcoming histamine intolerance. And it's not going to be like just taking a DAO supplement. This is also going to have all these organs that are very nourishing to you as well. They also have one called Lifeblood that has blood, liver, and spleen in it, and it's really good for things like anemia. I actually just bought this one myself because I am currently pregnant, which I'm very excited for. And I just did my like early blood work and everything was normal and in range, except for there was one thing that was like 0.2 below the normal range. But some of my blood markers were like a little on the lower side, even though they were still in the healthy range. And my blood has to go from about 5 liters to about 7 liters. So I have to make a lot of blood for baby and for myself. So I wanted just that extra support to really make sure I'm getting enough iron in and supporting my blood growth, because it's very protective against hemorrhaging and just really good for you in the long run and good for baby. So anyway, I bought that one for myself, and I'm not even going to take quite a full serving because I get liver in other ways, but I'm going to take that one just to get a little bit more iron and support for my blood. So anyway, there's a lot more different specifics, and you don't have to get lost in that. You can absolutely explore it if you have specific conditions, but really just the simple recommendation I have here is eat 3.5 to 7 ounces of liver every single week, measured raw. If you're having it every day, that's going to be 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce every single day, or to take the organ supplements. And I gave you a lot of recommendations for that. So, organ supplements are an amazing supplement, but if you get the organs in, you don't have to take them. And I do really like Heart and Soil, and I do have a discount code because I'm affiliated with them down below. So if you use the code Heart to Kitchen 10, you will get 10% off. So I'll leave that down below. So the second supplement is cod liver oil. I really like this one a lot. I've been taking it for at least a year and a half, I think. And I am affiliated with them, but I actually buy this one myself. I pay for it and it's really worth it. So basically here you don't have to take cod liver oil. What you're looking for is, there's a few nutrients in it. The main one I'm kind of going over here is omega-3, but there are other nutrients in cod liver oil that are part of the reason I take it, and I'll get into that in a second. But for omega-3s and some of those nutrients that are higher in fish, I recommend you get 2 servings of about 5 to 8 ounces of fatty seafood, and you can measure that raw. But yeah, about 5 to 8 ounces twice a week of, it has to be fattier seafood. Or you can just eat like tons of grass-fed animal products. If you buy like all grass-fed meat, or almost all, and you buy a bunch of grass-fed butter and cheese and dairy, the grass-fed really helps get the omega-3s in there, so that can be enough. Or I recommend you take cod liver oil. I recommend you follow the serving size. I get the liquid one, so it's 2 milliliters. They do have other ones, like a gel of the cod liver oil mixed with butter oil, and I think that's half a teaspoon. And then you can also get the capsules, and I don't know how many it is off the top of my head, but I would just follow the serving size there. So those are the things. You can either do fatty seafood, 5 to 8 ounces twice a week. You can do like all grass-fed everything, or you can take cod liver oil. And I choose the cod liver oil because I'm not huge on seafood, and I find all grass-fed everything to be very expensive. I find it cheaper to buy the cod liver oil, and I really just don't mind taking it. So that's what I personally choose, but you can do whatever you want. So cod liver oil has the omega-3s that you really want for healing. They're super anti-inflammatory. They're amazing for healing leaky gut, but they're important for a lot of things, and they're important for perfectly healthy people to have regularly. It also has vitamin D, which of course you can get from the sun, and you can get from fatty fish as well. So, you don't have to, but if you do find you're someone who struggles a little with getting enough vitamin D, I find that myself is one of those. I like to get it from cod liver oil, and I always prefer getting nutrients from real whole foods. So I like my supplements to be whole food supplements, hence the organ supplements and the cod liver oil. So anyway, that's a good way to get vitamin D. It's also rich in vitamin E. It does vary a lot, so it's hard to know the exact amount, but vitamin E is just like a funky nutrient that can be hard to get enough of. So I just don't quite eat enough of those foods. I try to get them in. I just had avocado and salmon in my lunch, so I just got some vitamin E in, but I don't always eat enough of those kind of foods regularly. Leafy greens, peppers, properly prepared nuts and seeds are really good. A lot of seafood is high in vitamin E too. And then it is very high in vitamin A as well. I just don't personally struggle to get enough vitamin A because I have liver as well. So because both are high in vitamin A, I do actually keep my liver on the lower end. So I said to get 3.5 to 7 ounces of liver a week. I get about 3.5 ounces a week because I don't want to overdo my vitamin A. It is important to note that most fish oils are rancid, so as soon as you extract the oil out of the fish, it's very prone to oxidation. So omega-3s are actually a polyunsaturated fatty acid, so if you've heard of PUFAs, kind of like seed oils. However, the problem with seed oils is that heat and chemicals are used to extract the oil out of the nut or the seed, and that is what makes it rancid and oxidizes it. So with fish oils or cod liver oil, the oil is very good for you, but if heat is used to extract it, or if it sits on the shelf for too long, it can become rancid and oxidize and actually be inflammatory for you. I really like Green Pastures for cod liver oil. One, I found out about them from the Weston A. Price Foundation, and I really trust them, and they're highly recommended by them. Also, the way they make it is they ferment the cod liver oils, and then they extract the oil, and it's a cold extraction. So they aren't using heat. They use really small batches, and they do a lot to prevent oxidation. They come in dark bottles. I actually keep mine in the fridge to prevent oxidation even further, and I use it up within about a month to make sure it's not going to oxidize. So anyway, I like that one a lot. I trust that brand, and I am affiliated with them, so I do have a discount code Kaylee25. I'll link it down below as well if you want to check them out. They have a few different products. I just get the cod liver oil. You could get the cod liver oil butter oil combo if you want. Honestly, I get the cod liver oil and I have a tiny slice of butter with it every time. I feel like that works great for me. But anyway, of course, you don't have to have it. You can just get fatty fish in your diet or a bunch of grass-fed meat and you'll get those nutrients just fine. The third supplement is binders, specifically for detoxing. So a really important part of healing your gut is ridding your body of stored toxins, especially pretty much anyone with any kind of gut issue is going to have more toxins stored in their body. If you have constipation, you're not getting your toxins out through your stools and your body's reabsorbing them and having to store them. If you have bile flow issues and fat malabsorption issues where you're getting pale, greasy stools and having nausea, maybe stones or sludge, you are not able to get your toxins out through your liver, and they're getting just recirculated or stored. If you have leaky gut, you have the opportunity for all these toxins to just flow straight into your bloodstream and become stored. And the progression of that is an autoimmune disease. If you have an autoimmune disease, you absolutely have stored toxins that need to come out. And if you have gut dysbiosis, your microbiome is off, your microbiome will actually be producing its own extra toxins to add to this whole burden. So pretty much everyone with gut issues needs to do a detoxing in order to heal or to help them heal better. This is not a fad juice cleanse detoxing at all. I do have a whole video where I talk about what I actually mean by detoxing, which is opening up your detox pathways, helping you have regular bowel movements, helping your liver to function properly and produce enough bile and keep that bile circulating, keeping your lymphatic system circulating. And there's some extra practices you can do, enemas, saunas, things like that, apple cider vinegar, water. You can do juices, they can be helpful, but not on their own, and it's not in a fasting way at all. But anyway, there are different practices, dry brushing, things like that you can do in your detox. You do not have to do all of them, but there is an order in a sense to how you implement these. And a binder is really amazing for this. You do not have to do it, it is optional, but it is helpful, especially because this is not a supplement that you have to take for the rest of your life or for years or anything. It's just something to take for a month or two while you do this deeper detox. And because it's your healing detox, it's going to be longer, but follow-up maintenance detoxes will only be about 2 weeks. So you can choose if you just want to use the binder for the first one or if you want to keep using them for subsequent detoxes, but this is not something you have to buy regularly. Now, basically what a binder does is it binds to toxins. So when you're detoxing, you're trying to upsurface toxins that have stored in your body and get them out. If they don't come out and you just upsurface them, they will make you sick. I have made this mistake before. I did a sauna too intensely, too fastly, and got sick from it. So, and I should have been taking a binder, but it was taking too long to get here in the mail. So that's why I wasn't. But anyway, so I have learned my lesson and I don't want you to have to learn it that way. So you can get sick, and what can happen too is if you upsurface toxins and you don't get rid of them, they might have been stored in your fat, for example, which is a relatively safe place to have them stored, but you've upsurfaced them and they won't necessarily go back to your fat if they get restored. They might go into an organ, which is a lot worse. So you want to detox safely, and that video that I mentioned before, I go over how to detox safely. You go slow, you go in the right order, and you'll be fine. But if you want just a little extra protection, a binder will help bind to these toxins that you're upsurfacing and then get them out through your stools. All binders are not created equally at all. I do not recommend that you go for like spirulina or cilantro or something like that, especially if you're dealing with heavy metals, because they're considered imperfect chelators, meaning they'll bind to the heavy metal and then they'll drop it. And again, it might have been in your fat and now it's in your brain. So that's not a good thing. You want something that's going to strongly bind. So I like zeolite, fulvic and humic acid. Those are kind of my favorites. They seem to be the most proven detoxers and binders. So that's what I like. I will link two that I enjoy down below. One of them is the Biofield Experts zeolite powder, and it also has the fulvic and humic complex in it. I like that one. Now, it takes about a month to get in the mail, at least if you're in the US. It's coming from Australia. So just order it early. That's where I ran into issues before, is I just wanted to start my detox and it wasn't in the mail. So order that early if you get that one, but I really liked that one. Another one that I've had before is the Cellcore Biotoxin Binder. That one is a really amazing one as well. I believe it also has the fulvic and humic acid. I think that's kind of the main component of it, but it has a mix of things in there. So both of those are very high quality binders that you could use. The Cellcore one, you need a practitioner code though to be able to order, and I'm not associated with them, so I don't have one. If you really, really want it, email me and I can try to find the code from the woman that I worked with in the past of how I ordered it. But anyway, so that one can be a little bit harder to get your hands on. But that's what I look for in binders. I'm not saying those are the only good binders, but those are the ones that I feel the most confident in. It can also depend on the type of toxins you're dealing with. So a very severe case of like heavy metal illness, I guess, like just a heavy metal overload, could require a very specific protocol for binders and chelators, which is beyond my field. So that's, you'd have to look for an expert in something like that. But just the basics, what works for, well, a little beyond the basics, but what works for most people is going to be one of those binders while you're detoxing. Again, I want to bring it back to very simple food. You don't need supplements to heal. This is not a requirement for healing. You don't have to take a binder to heal. I have had countless clients heal without taking a binder. They still do their detoxing. They still eat healthy. They still heal their gut. So you do not have to do it. But this is one that I think does make a big difference to your long-term health and is definitely not a waste of money. I do want to give you some food alternatives though. There are foods that help bind toxins and help you detox from them. So raw carrots are good, especially for xenoestrogens. So basically things that affect your hormones negatively. Cooked mushrooms, same. They're really good for that. Egg whites are actually good for heavy metals. Broccoli sprouts are good for microplastics. And then fermented foods are good for microplastics as well. So these are things that in your food can actually help bind to toxins and drive them out. And some fiber. I know I talk down about fiber a lot because everybody seems to tell you eat more and more fiber for constipation, and it makes it so much worse. So I do talk about negatives of fiber, but there are benefits. So it's more about finding your fiber sweet spot and not going crazy and overdoing it. It's not a magical thing, but realizing that if you have no fiber in your diet, it's not the best for detoxing because your liver makes bile. It's stored in the gallbladder. It's released into your digestive tract when you eat fat to help digest it. But that bile is also where toxins get out. And in the absence of fiber, your body will actually reabsorb and reuse about 95% of that bile. But if you have fiber, it will bind to some of that bile and force it out in your stools and make your body make new bile. So it just keeps your bile cleaner and helps you to get rid of toxins in that way. So nothing crazy, just eating some fruits and veggies is plenty. You don't have to go crazy, but in that sense, fiber is very helpful for detoxing as well, and you're probably already eating some. Now, the fourth is a broader category, and that's supplements targeted for you specifically. I said these are the only supplements you need that aren't a waste of money. So I do want to add a little bit of a broader category in there and say that everybody is different. And there are situations where extra supplements can be helpful. You can probably tell by now, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of supplements. I think people get misdirected by that and they think that the supplement's going to cure them and they ignore the foundation. Like supplements are a supplement to a good diet and a good lifestyle, and they shouldn't be the focus. They can be filling in the gaps. But anyway, so I'm not huge on supplements, but I do think some can be beneficial. I'm not against them. So I have a few examples here, but of course there could be a lot more. So somebody that has hypothyroidism and really struggles to get those nutrients in that support your thyroid, iodine, zinc, selenium, they might not have access to clean seafood, because like oysters is an amazing one for that. You can get a lot of zinc in red meat as well. You can get these in other foods, so it's not like a deal breaker if you don't have seafood, but seafood's kind of the easiest way to get all of those in. So anyway, if you're just really struggling, like I said, maybe you don't have access to clean seafood, you're just struggling to get those in, and you really need to get these nutrients in so you can have your thyroid function properly, then like an oyster supplement could be really good. So this is just, it's like the organ supplements. It's oysters ground up or dried out, ground up, and put into a pill. So it's still a whole food supplement. It's kind of just like if you don't have access or don't really like oysters, to clean oysters. I was going to say it's very, very important to get a clean source of oysters. Then you can just kind of take it in a pill form. So that's an example. This is not something that I think everybody or even very many people need to do, but it can be helpful for some people that struggle with that. If you're constipated or you get muscle cramps or you struggle with insomnia, then magnesium supplements can be helpful. You can always get more magnesium in through your diet, so it's not a must. You can get magnesium in through meat and orange juice and berries and chocolate and properly prepared nuts, things like that. And magnesium's a random one. There's other foods, but those are the ones off the top of my head, probably because those are my sources of magnesium. But anyway, you could end up taking a magnesium supplement. Magnesium citrate can be helpful for constipation, and then magnesium glycinate is kind of the best for everything else. But again, you don't have to take it. But of all the extra supplements beyond organs and cod liver oil, that's probably the next most common one that any of my clients ever use. Okay, so then butane HCl supplement can be helpful for people that struggle with low stomach acid. However, apple cider vinegar water, in my experience, is just as effective and sometimes tolerated even better. So you can take the HCl if you want to, if it's easier, but you could also just put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in an 8-ounce cup of water and then put a little salt in there and have it with each meal instead. And it works really, really well. My clients see like a noticeable difference from that, and a whole thing of apple cider vinegar is like $8, so that's really not that bad. So of course there are a lot of other specifics, but I'm not here to get into all the caveats, just to give you a few examples. So based on you, your symptoms, your diet, looking at the nutrient breakdown of your diet, you could also be looking at blood work. You might have some gaps that could be filled in by supplements, but it's really important to get high quality. I always like to get ones that are food focused first, like the organ supplements and the cod liver oil, the oyster supplements. Those are ideal instead of any kind of synthetic supplement. So the quality matters. I've had lots of clients that just react to supplements because they're impure, they're not the best quality, they add fillers in them. So just realize you don't need a bunch of supplements. And some of the ones you don't need that a lot of people think you do for healing your gut is you don't need a probiotic. Fermented veggies, fermented foods, fermented dairy is plenty. You don't need to take a probiotic. If you really want to and you find a good one and you do it on top of it, that's fine, but like you don't have to. You don't need to take collagen or L-glutamine or things like that you're just going to get in your bone broth and your meat stock. And a lot of collagens are contaminated with pesticides and heavy metals, so they actually do more harm than good. It is kind of hard to find a good one. So just get your 2 cups of homemade bone broth or meat stock in a day, and you'll be good there. And you'll get glycine in through that and all these other things. I can't tell you how many times I laugh seeing a supplement and I'm like, but that's the easiest thing in the world to get. It's in like all meat or things like that. Like, it's an important nutrient, but it's so easy to get. You don't need to take one of those artichoke or apple cider vinegar, ginger, aloe type of gut healing, gut motility type supplements. You can get apple cider vinegar in through your diet. You can get ginger tea or something like that is going to be helpful, but you don't need to take a supplement like that. And yeah, once you understand how to get all your nutrients in through your food and through your diet, you'll realize that you don't really need these zinc or iron or things like that, like specific nutrient supplements either. Definitely don't take a multivitamin because it's not tailored to your diet specifically. So it's very easy for that to throw off nutrients, and too much of one nutrient can actually prevent you from absorbing other nutrients and cause imbalances. So multivitamin is not the answer. If you're wanting like a little extra to help with everything, liver is your answer there. And yeah, just remember, supplements are a supplement to your diet. They're not the cure-all. They supplement a good nutrient-rich gut healing diet, a solid gut healing protocol that addresses the root causes of your issues and a gut supportive lifestyle, that is what is going to help you to heal. And if you would like support in creating that, I do have 2 different ways that I can support you. So one is through my gut healing course, which is Ancestral Gut Healing. This is a detailed protocol that takes you step by step on how to eat to heal your gut, how to detox to heal your gut, how to de-stress to heal your gut, what kind of lifestyle things come into play. And then there's lots of recipes, nutrient guides, all those sorts of things. You can get the list of, the best sources of each nutrient and help you get all your nutrients in. So it's a complete protocol to heal your gut. And I mentioned a lot of different caveats in there. If you have histamine intolerance, then do this instead. If you're more prone to constipation, do these kinds of things. So it's a very in-depth healing protocol. But if you want more personalized support, I do also offer one-to-one coaching in my personalized gut healing coaching program. And that one, you do actually get access to the course, but beyond that, you get access to me. So I'm there to actually write out a plan for you to heal, to look over your food logs and see what you're eating, give you suggestions, to do a nutrient analysis for you, and just to help you with your whole healing protocol, especially if you have anything a little more specific or complicated. I can help you sort through that. Now, I am limited in how many clients I'm accepting, and that is because I mentioned, I mentioned earlier in this video that I am pregnant. So I'm starting my maternity leave in April of next year, and I want to make sure I have enough time to work with any clients that choose to work with me. So I am cutting off taking on new clients the end of 2025. So if you have been thinking about working with me, now would definitely be a good time to book a call with me. I'll leave a link down below. Anyone who starts in November will get a 4-month program, and anyone that starts in December will get a 3-month program. And if you're watching this in the future, later in 2026 is when I'm planning on taking more coaching clients on again, but I do not have an exact date. I'm kind of leaving that up to what feels right to me. But anyway, so if you haven't interested, it'd be a great time to book a call and hear more about what that's like. And I'd love to help you with that. And if you're interested in any of the supplements I mentioned, I'll have them linked all down below. I have discount codes for a few of them, but not all of them. But I have some if you're interested in those ones. And if you're curious how I get all my nutrients in without taking supplements, I do take cod liver oil regularly, but it's so close to a food. So, and I take some organ supplements sometimes. But if you're curious how I get all my nutrients in through food, I do have a video that I made on that, so you can check that out on the screen, and I'll see you next time.